can't believe we're going to the People's Choice Awards.
I can see my name in lights. Come on, get up, and come hang with us. Come on, just scream and shout. The stage is lighted up. Turn it up now and let them know that this is the Oscar show. Come on, get up.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What the Hell Happened to Them. Well, not just another episode. It's this year's Oscar special.
Oscar.
Yes, thank you, love, yes.
Oscar.
We normally append this to whatever movie we're doing at the time, and two things sort of happened. One, this was going to be added to Man on the Moon, and I kind of wanted to just focus on that movie for that episode. And then two, it proves to be one of the more popular segments on the show. For the last couple of years we've been doing it, where Joe has come in watching the Oscars fresh. I have not. And then I kind of guess at what's been going on and have my live reactions to everything for you, the audience, to listen to. So we thought we'll just do it this year. And not only will we just do it this year by itself, but we will also do it the day after the Oscars. Normally we record on Tuesdays. Now I have to spend all day Monday avoiding any part of the internet or communication with any human being. But then also, we take the week to kind of turn it around and get it to you. So it's already kind of a week old by the time you're listening to it. So we thought we're going to record and release on the same day, this Monday, March 3rd, right after the Oscars have happened. We're recording. It's 6:40 a.m. my time, West Coast time. So it's as fresh as I can be off the night of the Oscars. So I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill. Joining me on the line is a man, a plan, a canal, Joe Vekeman.
Hi.
And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Marmalduke, the wonderful breakfast spread treat made from marmalized dog. Marmalduke, from the makers of Marmal and Me. All right, Joe.
How did we let them back as a sponsor? I've had a real problem with them. I've actually protested this 3 times now.
What?
I do not stand for eating caramelized dog.
It's not caramelized, it's marmalized, Joe.
Whatever. Caramelized, marmalized.
It's very
the same
different.
shit.
Yeah, Lev, you didn't tell me Joe had problems with this. All right, well,
There's too much jelly dog going on right now.
We'll figure that one out after the fact. But let's not distract from what everybody's here for. They want to know who won in the 2024 Oscars. And I always call them the 2024 Oscars because the movies happened in 2024.
That's
but
right.
Google doesn't always do that. They like to call it the 2025 Oscars. And I say, no, we're talking about 2024 films, you fools. So we're going to refer to this Oscars as the 2024 Oscars. For those of you who know, who maybe are coming a couple years later, this is the Oscars where it's like Amelia Perez and One of the Wickeds and
One of the Wickets.
Chalamet.
One of the Dunes.
Yeah, one of the Dunes. Yeah, it's that year. So there you go. The year where controversy was more interesting than the Oscars itself. All right.
That's rude.
Not the year where Will Smith slapped somebody. It's not that year.
That's a couple of years removed.
Yes. Were there any slap type moments that happened? Anybody punching somebody?
It was a slap in the face to think that we should be watching a James Bond montage in a year where no James Bond movies have come out.
I'm confused. So the Oscars, terminally running over time, said, what if we pad out the schedule with a James Bond
one
montage?
thing we got to talk about is how Conan O'Brien was a fantastic host this year.
He usually is.
He made a big mention about how we are not going to go over time and we are not going to waste your time. And then he had a musical song where he danced and said, we're not going to waste your time. It was very funny.
A good bit.
It went on for about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was good. And then he called out Mr. Adam Sandler in the crowd for not being dressed appropriately, and Salmon's like, what are you attacking me for? I'm in a comfy sweater and some gym shorts. And I'm like,
they're all just jealous.
He's our king, and we need to raise him up above all of us and support him and believe in him.
Believe in the cause of comfortable clothing.
Absolutely.
Overly large basketball shorts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I told you I have adapted this as my summer gear now.
Does this wife show up like looking like a normal person, or is she in like sweatpants?
I didn't see her at all. I think he was just doing like a little bit.
She's not sitting like right next to him?
He looked like he shouldn't have been there. It's like, who let him in?
Yes.
But yeah, it was very nice seeing Mr. Sandman.
Did The Rock show up? Did any of our other podcast alum?
Well, we had Whoopi. Whoopi showed up with Oprah.
The Lifetime Achievement Award. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Who else did show up? No Julia. I think it's because she's still shooting her movie with Luca.
No Rock. No
Rock, but that's because he was in Toronto yesterday.
Okay.
Because he was doing a wrestling angle with John Cena.
Oh, they're both doing wrestling things?
Yeah, no, it's a huge thing now.
No Jim. He's hiding somewhere.
I think he might be shooting another Sonic movie.
Do you know Sonic 3 is still in the theaters near me? And not like one of these like, $5 fave. No, it's still like actively in theaters with like 3 showtimes.
That's strange because it's been on Paramount Plus for what, a month now?
Still here. Still eating up showtimes at my theater. I don't understand.
There's just very limited kids movies right now. So like, what can we keep around for the kids?
Well, they got that Dogman thing.
Is it performing as well as Sonic? No.
Remember when Sonic used to look weird and nobody was going to see it?
Yeah, no, that was a big thing.
They had to like totally change how he looked.
Sonic had like weird teeth and some strange eyes, and they're like, we can't do this. I'm like, well, then why don't you just do it for like the actual video game instead of making a whole new like render of the character? Very strange to even put that out there in the universe. And then it was a joke in a Disney movie.
Oh, really?
The Chip and Dale movie. Did you ever see that?
No.
Why would you? But it's funny.
I know.
All right, so you're gonna want to get to the ones that you don't care about.
Yeah, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sort of do the stuff that most of you guys don't care about. He's gonna say the category and who was nominated. I'm gonna say who I would pick. I'm gonna guess who the Academy picked, and then bitch probably for a little bit, and we'll work our way up all the way to Best Picture. All right, Joe.
I want to get through these ones quickly because I've never even seen them, and I know you watched them last week though. Best Live Action Short. We have the nominees: The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent, The Last Ranger, Anuja, Alien, and I'm Not a Robot. Yeah,
so I had joked with Joe after seeing them that these were all short films are just documentaries now, because that's what they all felt. Other than the I'm Not a Robot, which for, first half was pretty good, and then it kind of ran out of steam a little too quickly. But I was like, oh, what a breath of fresh air, like a regular movie, just a narrative kind of thing we're doing here. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to pick that, though. I bet they pick The Last Ranger. I might pick The Lean. It is, again, one of those pseudo-documentary things, but I think it probably did that the most interestingly. It tried to have intention and do a cinematography kind of thing. So I would pick The Lean. I bet they pick Last Ranger.
They picked I'm Not a Robot.
Whoa! Wow! Upset early here. Wow, really?
Yeah, they did. Probably because they're like, hey, this is kind of a normal movie, like you said. I don't know.
I guess they just love patting themselves on the back and looking like they're so worldly and socially conscious. I'm really surprised. All right, well, I'll give props to the Academy so far. A good way to start off.
Best Animated Short. All right, we have Yuck! We have Wander to Wonder, Magic Candies, Beautiful Men, and In the Shadow of Cypress.
I thought Wander to Wonder was fucking nuts, and I thought it was great. I think, though, I would pick the Cypress. What is that one called?
In the Shadow of Cypress.
In the Shadow of Cypress. I thought that was very solid, very interesting, a great use of animation. And you know what? I'm going to say the Academy picked it too.
And they did.
Aha! a very worthy pick. I thought that movie was quite
That's good. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I don't know when I'm going to be able to see those. So I already told you the best documentary that you didn't see went to No Other Land.
It's the best short documentary.
That was best feature.
Yeah, what's best short?
Best short, best documentary short. The nominees are Instruments of a Beating Heart, The Only Girl in the Orchestra, Death by Numbers, Incident, and I Am Ready, Warden.
Okay, I haven't seen any of these because I don't know why we did this. I don't know why I had you do this because I didn't see any of them. But I'm gonna go by name and say they picked the last one.
I Am Ready Warden?
Yeah.
Nah, they picked The Only Girl in the Orchestra.
Okay. Well,
No,
I'm not sure
okay.
what is that? Is some musical, some woman breaking the glass ceiling thing?
From the little clip they showed last night, I would say it's something about with a string instrument.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure most of our audience hasn't watched either, but
I don't know where I would have seen that.
good for them. Well, you would have seen it at the showcase at the theater, but I didn't want to go because it was going to be like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I already don't want to watch
That's not a short.
documentaries.
That's not shorts. I know you're getting many of them, but it's not short enough.
The short animated films were an hour and a half, and the short live actions were an hour and 45 minutes. I did not want an additional 25 minutes on top of what I've already sat through. No, thank you.
I will tell you next. The best animated feature. The nominees are Inside Out 2, Flow, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. You've seen these.
I've seen all of them. I would say, going off of the Academy's previous picks, perhaps we're a little more in sync than usual. So I think Flow is by far the best of all those films, on many levels. The narrative level, the animation looks interesting. I think it's a nice story, because I know the Academy loves their stories when they pick these awards. This just guy doing it on his own in Lithuania, like just...
I believe there were 15 people working with him, and that's it.
Well, I would pick Flow. It's one of my top 10 films of the year. I'm going to say they picked Flow too.
And they did.
Nicely done.
It's an interesting Academy this year.
Yes. None of those other ones particularly stand... Like, if they wanted to be fucking, I don't know, stupid saccharine... Like, they could pick the Wallace and Gromit thing, right? Like, and be like, oh, we all like these other ones. And the movie's, like, a fine movie. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not Inside Out 2, you know? Like, it works.
Inside Out 2 was the highest grossing movie of last year.
So wrong.
That's the only reason why they would have probably picked it.
It's because it's Pixar. That's like, I haven't seen any anime movies, but I've seen. I know this Pixar thing
It's so bad, though. It's not. It's so bad.
Okay, good work, Academy. We're rolling this year. We're rolling.
All right. Best International Feature Film.
Okay.
The nominees. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. The Girl with the Needle. Flow. Amelia Perez. I'm Still Here.
What the F is this Girl with the Needle? That one slipped by me. What is that?
I've seen it to rent on Prime. For
Girl
like
with the Needle?
$7.
How did I miss that? I was so diligent this year about watching all of these Oscar films. That one slipped by me. The Girl with the Needle.
The Girl with the Needle from
Shit.
Denmark.
Oh, sorry, audience. Okay, so I haven't seen that one. So my math will be thrown off a little here. But I guess not so much, because they did an odd thing this year and had a few international Best Pictures also be their regular Best Pictures.
That's true.
And one of them be an animated Best Picture, which makes it seem like the Academy has seen a lot of foreign films, but I actually don't agree with that. I think the overlap a lot of these categories imply that they don't watch a lot of international films.
Amelia Perez, there's some English in there. Flow, there's no dialogue.
There's no dialogue. You probably shouldn't call that I guess that's why they stopped calling it Best Foreign Language Film.
Yeah.
But you're already watching Flow because your animated category is so small. And apparently you've liked two of these other foreign films enough, whether or not you'll admit it, to make them Best Pictures. So, like, they were kind of already in your view anyway, and now you got to watch less foreign Best Pictures because you've already seen them for other categories. So I think you watch less foreign films. I'm not giving you credit for that. But I'll also say it's a lot easier now that Amelia Perez shot itself in the foot. I think they did I'm Still Here because I don't think they're giving that one Best Picture. And I don't think they want to watch that many things. So I think they're going to pick I'm Still Here. I'm going to pick the other, more interesting totalitarian regime foreign film actually made in secret under a totalitarian regime, The Sacred Fig. I want to say The Killing of the Sacred Fig, but I know that's not true.
You're picking The Seed of the Sacred Fig?
Seed of the Sacred Fig.
Well, I'm Still Here one.
Yes. Thought so. You can't pull one past me, Academy, except you did right away, but other than that, I'm on you.
All right. The next one we'll do is Best Original Song.
Ah, jeez.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. I'm not going to be great
your
at these
favorite.
either.
Never Too Late by Elton John. Mi Camino, Amelia Perez. Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Abraham Alexander, Adrian Caseta. The Journey from 6888 by Diane Warren. And El Mal from Amelia Perez. That is Clement Decol and Camille. Lyrics by Clement Decol, Camille, and Jacques Audiard.
So wait, Amelia Perez has 2 Best Original Songs?
Yes, it
Has
does.
2 Best Original Songs in their movie based off of an opera where there wasn't even that much music anyway.
It's true.
And yet 2 of those songs weren't in the original opera that it was based on?
Yes, apparently.
It's fucking nonsense. And and there's a Sing Sing song, and then Elton John has a song. What movie was that in?
Some Elton John bio documentary thing.
Okay, and what was the other movie song?
6888, Diane Warren, her 16th nomination.
What the hell's that? The movie's called 6888?
Yeah, I believe it's a Tyler Perry movie that's on Netflix.
Tyler Perry movie?
I believe so. It is directed and written by Tyler Perry. It stars Kerry Washington, Dean Norris, and Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
It came out on December 6th. It was budgeted at $70 million. We gave this movie $70 million. No one has
No one
talked
started
about it.
or okay, whatever.
And one of the stars is Oprah. What are we doing?
I guess I'll pick the Sing Sing thing because they don't like Amelia Perez anymore.
Well, they gave Amelia Perez El Mal.
Wow.
That's the song where Zoe Saldana is going through the crowd at the...
That wasn't in the opera?
Well, I've had a high contention with some of these choices that they picked, like how Wicked is nominated for Best Original Score.
Oh, yeah, let's do this one.
Makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to me either. I was just bitching about this the other day.
Why not Challengers,
Oh,
which had the Best Original Score of last year?
I just don't All right, go do the original score, and then I'll complain some more.
Well, did you pick one for a song?
I just picked Sing Sing. You said it wasn't Sing Sing. I don't know.
It wasn't Sing Sing, it's El Mal.
And then you said they picked yeah, we did that.
All right. We just want to move past that shit.
What? Like I think that's
the
stupid.
worst category. It's such a terrible category. We are not at the Grammys. We are at the Oscars.
I get it. I just don't if you have 2 songs from a movie based on none of those songs. I just don't imagine they're original. I just don't imagine it. I don't believe you.
Okay. Best Original Score. The Wild Robot, Chris Bowers. Wicked, John Powell and Stephen Schwartz. Amelia Perez, Clement Decol and Camille. Conclave, Volker Bertelmann. And The Brutalist, Daniel Blumberg.
Okay. Yeah, with the Wicked and with the Amelia Perez with this original score, they are both based on musical properties. It is unlikely that the majority of your score is not based on the songs that you are celebrating. Maybe Amelia Perez, because opera has mostly singing and doesn't have like a lot of musical interlude score spaces. So, and you didn't seem to want to be fully your opera anyway, which makes it odd to adapt off an opera, but whatever. So perhaps enough. I guess what is the percentage that needs to be original? More than 50%? More than 80%? 75%? Like, what is the threshold where you've done enough original music to be an original score? I don't understand. And there was something else, right, where like some song or some score was like the Dune thing maybe was reused enough so like it didn't get to count. I just don't I don't understand how Wicked in particular. I don't remember much of that score feeling very original at all to me. Whatever. Yes. All right, so my terminally online friend, Joe, were people in the Blago Blag, were they...
Did you just call me your terminally online friend, you asshole?
Yeah, like, were people upset about these 2 picks for Best Original Score? Were people like, what are you guys doing? Was there any scuttle about
people were
it?
just pissed because Challengers wasn't nominated, but then at the same time, everyone's like, well, Trent Reznor and Asghar Ross do have 2 Oscars already.
Yeah. Well, I would pick The Brutalist. Of those 5, I think that's the score that 1 stands out in my mind the most, and 2 I think is like the most important texturally for its film. I think his film is best enhanced by its score versus what the other scores are doing for their films. But I bet they were like, No, I was going to say they picked Wicked, but I bet they're going to save that for when the movie's actually done in a year or two. And I bet we're going to get a whole smattering.
But how can you call it
that year.
an original score if it's already been done before?
Well, I don't think the Academy clearly didn't care enough when they were nominated. They were just like, oh, I like the music there, and didn't really like.
Well, that
put
was
it
the thing
together.
with Dune. They couldn't do Dune because it was apparently not enough new score.
That's
from
what I
the,
bitched
from the
about.
second one.
I don't know. Maybe they're like, well, it's never been in a movie before, and I go, what?
Yeah. Well, the Brutalist won.
Oh, good. All right. Good work, everybody.
Best sound.
Yes, a category nobody knows what to do with.
That's when the movie goes boop, 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 boop. So we have our nominees: The Wild Robot, Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez, Dune, Part 2.
Some of those I'm like, what were people thinking? Were they just like, well, it's a musical, so, good sound probably.
I would say 3 out of the 4 they were like, 5, yeah, musical. It's hard to edit sound.
Wild Robot feels kind of like a cheat because it's like it all has to be done. Like it's all sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all animated films have to do what the Wild Robot did. So
I think that movie is actually overrated.
I think so.
now.
I think it was fine.
I thought it was fine.
It was a fine
yeah.
movie. A score I didn't find particularly interesting, or it had a song. I thought that got nominated, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, the movie was very hyped up for me, and then I watched it. And I'm like, okay.
I'm like, all right, well, I've seen that, I guess. Flow is all sound. You're not going to give any sound nominations to that? Is it just like you didn't like how it was mixed or something? I asked people about, I asked a production designer friend of mine. I'm like, hey, do you have any thoughts on good production designing or like why things get chosen? Like what are production designers looking for? And she says, we really just vote for the people that we like. Like just
Rude.
the people. We're like, oh, well, I've worked with them and they were very nice. I'll vote for them this time. I imagine sound maybe is somewhat similar, but I bet they picked Dune. What would I pick? What were the options?
Dune, Complete Unknown, your favorite movie. Amelia Perez, your favorite movie. Wicked, your favorite movie. And The Wild Robot.
I guess I don't know if I'd pick any of them, so I guess I would pick Dune as well by process of elimination.
Dune is the winner!
Yeah, okay.
Best production design. We got Nosferatu, Dune, Part 2, Conclave, Wicked, and The Brutalist.
I think Conclave's production design is quietly good,
It is.
so it was nice that got nominated in there. You say Dune was in there, right, or did I make that up?
Dune is.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's very showy. I think I might pick Conclave because of the subtlety, but I bet they picked The Brutalist, which I have no problem with, but...
Well, you might have a problem with this one. They picked Wicked! I was like flummoxed because the people got up for like the Wicked people set up, like they shut up so happily. Like, yeah, we won one! Yeah. I'm like...
Guys, just wait a year. You're gonna win them all, then, you jerks. And what?
Will they?
I think they will. I think it's gonna like come in and like steamroll everything. It's gonna do like a Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah, but like I think
They're gonna thank everybody in New Zealand.
I
and
still haven't. Is this movie on Peacock yet? Because I still haven't watched it yet.
I don't blame you. It's just like got caught up in the hype of it. I don't know. I don't get it.
Is it? No, it's coming soon.
How much of that
March
movie is
21st.
actually on a set? Even
It actually they did build a lot of the sets.
They did?
So
Okay.
Yeah, they showed them building them when they were doing the.
they're like, I would see.
little video.
I know we did it. It's
Yeah, they
real.
just didn't light them correctly.
Yeah.
They look like shit. They have all these beautiful sets that are lit so poorly.
All right, so no cinematography awards for them.
Yeah, and they didn't get nominated for. We'll do that one next. Best cinematography. Maria.
Yep.
Favorite of yours, which I finally saw clips from because I haven't seen a thing about. This is the first time I'm seeing anything from Maria. I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, all right, go on.
Nosferatu, Amelia Perez, The Brutalist, and Dune Part 2 for cinematography.
All right, I think of those 5, Maria had the best cinematography. Like, I was sort of surprised. I'm like, why did this thing get nominated? And I watched it and I kind of got it.
And
Like
Lockman.
it really is, I don't know. Not only is it some of the, when people talk cinematography, they're like, oh, how beautiful is this shot? How good looking is this shot? And they are. They're very good. But like also the cinematography styling and the different versions of cinematography they used help you keep track of a very fractured mind and timeline. Not that it was doing anything extremely inventive or creative or interesting, but it was putting effort into keeping what could have been a very complicated story very digestible for the audience. So I think that should get some awards, that there was a very strong design and intent put in there. Mm-hmm. I don't think they picked that at all. I know a lot's been said about the Dune thing because of the infrared. I don't find that to be particularly interesting of an idea, and I don't know how well it even served the story. It does look neat. It's kind of a fun break in the middle of your very long film, but I don't know if that's worthy enough.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Ed Lockman did the cinematography for plenty of Joe's favorite movies. My favorite Paul Schrader movie, Light Sleeper. Mm-hmm. Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, wow. He's been around
That's
for a while.
one of my favorite, Julia Roberts. He did Carol, my favorite, Todd Haynes. He also did, let's see here, I found The Virgin Suicides, Sofia Coppola.
I just saw that recently. So I don't think they picked Dune.
Mm-mm.
But since it's kind of, again, this is one of those categories I don't think enough of them know enough about. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say they kind of circled to the top and they picked The Brutalist.
They did. Lol Crowley.
Yes.
Best cinematography.
Good cinematography there, too. I won't take it away from them.
Fantastic.
I think Maria was better by a hair. All right, go on. Next one, Joe.
Best makeup and hairstyling. We have Wicked. We have Amelia Perez. Nosferatu. The Substance. And A Different Man.
Amelia Perez? Like what?
Well, they're making a woman into a man.
The Substance and A Different Man, sort of the elephant men of this year. I don't know which of those two I would pick. I'm fine with both of them. I bet they picked The Substance, though. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't pick Wicked, and I'm going to say they picked The Substance.
Dear God, I'm so glad they didn't pick Wicked. It was The Substance.
Okay. Good work.
Bless those French people. Best costume design. Mm-hmm. We have Nosferatu, Gladiator 2, Conclave, A Complete Unknown, and Wicked.
What's A Complete Unknown for? Just like, we found things from the 60s? We found old things?
Found this nice jacket that Bob used to wear. Oh, it was in his closet.
I don't. And there's another category where people don't really know what to look for. Like, I don't know. These... Usually they find the big period piece things like Gladiator 2, the big spectacle things like Wicked.
Nosferatu. Big vampire shit.
I don't know what I would pick here. It's not like this is my forte. I bet they gave it to Wicked. I would pick... I don't even know what I would pick. Nosferatu.
I would give it to Nosferatu, but they gave it to Wicked.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Best visual effects. Wicked. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's right. So the All the Monkeys category.
Better Man. That's a good monkey movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Alien Romulus.
Just kind of sneaking in there out of
Dune
nowhere.
Part 2. Alien Romulus is good except for the special effects with the fucking dork from the second movie or whatever. First or second movie. I can't remember who it was.
I'm not sure what I would pick here either. I definitely think that they picked Dune. But I guess I might pick Dune as well. I don't know. I'm not particularly blown away by any of those films' special effects.
You're crazy if you weren't blown away by the Dune Part 2 effects.
They all just look like I'm still in the phase where I can tell they're all special effects. So what makes one special effect look any different than another? I don't know. They're all special effects.
When they're all at the beginning of that movie when the guys just start flying up into the air as they're climbing that hill.
Yeah.
Hot. That is hot shit right there.
All right, so you'd pick Dune 2 as well?
That's like fucking throwing your dick on the table and saying, look what I can do.
Me, you, and the Academy, we're all picking Dune 2?
Yes, Dune Part 2 is the winner. Now going for one of those big categories here, baby.
The stuff everybody's actually here for?
Best film editing.
Everybody loves some film editing.
I think this is one of the better categories.
Except the Academy, because they didn't pick Nickel Boys, so...
That's true.
The hands-down winner of editing this year. All right, go on, Joe.
The nominees were Wicked, Amelia Perez, Conclave, The Brutalist, and Anora.
I'm picking between the last two.
The Brutalist and Anora.
Yeah, I think Amelia Perez is kind of having its black cloud over it, so I don't really have to worry about that. I don't know what in Wicked you're editing. What? Because that thing you said where it was like supposed to be 4 hours and they cut it down to 2.5. That musical's not even 4 hours.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
What are you doing? And it's not just like how much unnecessary stuff did they shoot can we just leave out. It's actually, if you can cut out an hour and a half, your editing job's probably pretty easy. If there's that much worth taking off the film. You know what? That's why it's a 2-part movie. It was going to be 1 4-hour movie, and they said, don't do that.
Hey, well, that's what Tarantino did with Kill Bill.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
We can't have this be a 4-hour movie.
And Conclave, I think, is just this nice prestige film that's just going to get largely outshadowed by a bunch of other things.
It is true. It was. Yeah, which one?
The editing isn't all super distinguishable. I think I would pick Anora, but I bet they would pick Brutalist. No, they picked neither of those.
No, they picked Anora! Sean Baker wins his first Oscar.
All right, well done. Yeah, the art theater near me, they had a little section on the wall this weekend, and it was like, write your favorite film of the year. So I went to like look and see like, all right, what are the people all about this year? It's a lot of Anoras, a lot of the substances, some Nickel Boys thrown in there, some I Saw the TV Glows. I was like, hell yeah, guys, you did it. Then there was one that was like, Amelia Perez. Just kidding, it's Anora.
Anybody who's like, Amelia Perez, my favorite movie of the year, they need to have their head fucking examined. That was some crazy shit that the Academy was trying to gaslight. Like, excuse me? Fucking wild shit. All right. Best Original Screenplay.
Okay, let's do it.
The Substance.
Yep.
Corley Farge. September 5, Moritz Binder and Tim Feilbaum. Ariel Payne, Jesse Eisenberg. The Brutalist, Brady Corbet and Mona Fastfold. Anora, Sean Baker.
I'd like to give it to Sean Baker. And I don't hate this choice either, but I think they picked the Substance. I think it's just a very, very kooky, kind of unique idea. It's also kind of thematic to what Hollywood likes to celebrate, even though they don't actively do it, because it's about Hollywood not doing it. And just kind of a kooky, fun idea, nice and high concept.
Yeah.
So I bet they picked that one.
And the award goes to Sean Baker! Anora. That's 2 Oscars for Sean.
All right, looks like Anora's building up some momentum here.
Best Writing Adapted Screenplay. And the nominees are... I'm not saying all these names, holy shit. Sing Sing.
Yeah.
Nickel Boys. Amelia Perez. A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
Conclave.
I guess for a screenplay, I would pick Nickel Boys. That one's tough because I feel like the strength of it is not in its screenplay. I think the directing and but like maybe it was, I don't know what the source material book is. Like maybe the book is more straightforward. And so when they wrote it, they found this really interesting way to kind of do it. So maybe that comes across in the screenplay. But I also don't know how many of these people are actually reading the screenplays and not just watching the movie and being like, well, I like that movie. I like that story.
I can't imagine any of these fuckers reading these. They're like, I don't know how to read. Like, that's what I get from fucking Hollywood. My agent reads me these through audiobooks. I don't read. They tell me my lines. I only memorize my lines.
So, all right. I will pick Nickel Boys, and I really don't know what they would pick here.
What would they pick?
I know.
There's a couple of movies who haven't been recognized for anything that have gotten a lot of nominations.
Yeah.
Maybe this is one of their categories.
I know, like, I thought they would shut out Conclave, but I'm kind of leaning maybe towards that, because it's got that twisty ending, and maybe, like, that's drawing their eye. But also, like, I know Chalamet's drawing a lot of attention to his very boring movie, so maybe they pick that one to really stick it to me. So I will pick Nickel Boys. I will, in my way, give them the benefit and say they pick Conclave.
They picked Conclave!
Right.
Peter Strawn.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun movie. I didn't think, I don't know. I guess I thought I would enjoy a movie about a papal conference. because like that minutia kind of gets to me.
I
but-
liked it with all my 60 and up crowd.
Yeah, I think it had a more of an appeal than I would have thought going in, despite the sensationalistic.
More fun than I was expecting.
Yes, exactly. And you had some great acting from people.
All right, now we're going to get to some acting awards.
All right, yes, everybody's favorite.
Best actor in a supporting role. Mm-hmm. We have Kieran Culkin, a real pain. Yura Borisov, Anora, Edward Norton, a complete unknown. Guy Pearce, the brutalist. And Jeremy Strong, the apprentice.
The Jeremy Strong nomination is funny because it's just like I'm a guy sounding like the dude who played Ray Romano's cousin in Everybody Loves Raymond in the 90s. Like, I'm just going to do my impression of that guy, and that's what he sounds like. I don't think they picked him.
They did not.
Guy Pearce is definitely who I think they picked because that's just what all the buzz has been about. But what are the other three?
Edward Norton, Yura Borisov, and Kieran Culkin.
I guess I would give it to Guy Pearce, too. No shade on Kieran or Eurus. Guy Pearce just has a lot more to do.
Yes, I liked Guy Pearce, and I wish he was recognized, but he was not.
Who'd they give it to?
Kieran Culkin.
Okay, well, very reasonable. And there's a story to it, too, right? Like, when was the last time we talked about Kieran Culkin? And then he came in and just kind of, like, stole the show. Mm-hmm. Or, like, he's the thing about that movie anyone's talking about. Makes sense to me.
It's a great performance.
Yeah.
He had a very funny speech as well, where he was pretty much directly talking to his wife in the speech and was saying, hey, remember when you told me that I wasn't going to win an Emmy? And if I did win an Emmy, you would have a third kid with me? And she's like, yeah. And then he won the Emmy for Succession. And then he's like, well... And she's like, well, I don't know about this. And he's like, fine. How about if I win an Oscar? Can we have a fourth kid? And she's just like, okay, you win an Oscar and we'll have a fourth kid. And he's like, hey. And he's like, I bet you didn't think I had this much perseverance to get an Oscar or something like that. So it's very, very charming. Best actress in a supporting role.
Yes.
We have Isabella Rossellini in Conclave.
All 5 seconds.
She was in a blue velvet dress to support David Lynch tonight.
Very nice, yes.
She took many pictures with Laura Dern.
Aw.
That was very nice.
Laura Dern was there? She got to come?
Yeah. Yeah, she got invited.
Who gets, how do you
Hollywood
get on the
royalty.
list
She
of
won
this
an
thing?
Oscar. She got an Oscar a couple of years ago.
Okay, like there's like for the next 5 years.
Do you remember what her Oscar was for?
Wild?
No, that's what you gave it to her for.
Oh, what is it?
Marriage Story.
Oh, she was like the lawyer?
Yeah, she's the lawyer in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's coming back to me.
Isabella Rossellini, Conclave. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist. Ariana Grande, Wicked. Monica Barbaro. Why are you laughing at Ariana Grande?
I just think
for
she
Wicked?
is. I don't know.
I think she's better than Cynthia Erivo in that movie,
No,
and I only watched 25 minutes
I'm
of
not yelling at her
it.
being nominated. In just my mind, she feels like the main character of that movie.
Oh.
Like, I know the movie's about the witch, but I feel like we spend more of our time with her, don't we? Maybe I don't remember the movie very well.
Like I said, watched probably half hour of it.
All right, go on. And also, yeah, like I don't know what Ariana Grande is doing in that movie. I don't get it. All right, go on.
She's being charming.
Oh, sure, yeah,
That's what she does, right?
Go.
All right, Monica Barbaro, a complete unknown, and Zoe Saldana, Amelia Perez.
All right, I think the only one worth giving it to is the brutalist lady. What was her name?
Felicity Jones.
I think that's the only person in there worth mentioning in the category. At all of those who have been brought into it, I think they picked the Amelia Perez lady because of the buzz.
They did pick Zoe Saldana, and she gave a very, very heartfelt speech. She broke down in tears.
What did she give the speech about?
About immigrants and how her grandmother wished her to follow her dreams and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Very, very heartwarming stuff. Okay, best actor in a leading role. We have Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice, Ray Fiennes, Conclave, Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing, Timothy Chalamet, as Sam.
Timothy Chalamet.
Sandler ran over to him right when he was doing his bit at the beginning, and he was like, Chalamet! He just ran away. And I'm like,
What was his bit at the beginning?
I told you, he was not dressed appropriately for the Oscars. He was in his hoodie and his gym shorts.
Oh, Sandler's bit at the beginning? So the camera went on Sandler, and then Sandler ran over to Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah, he was like right next to him when he ran over to him. It was funny. And Adrian Brody, the brutalist.
Okay. The Sebastian Stan thing where you liked him more in the other film,
I did.
I get where you're coming from, and I bet that put him on people's radar, but the Academy just loves people acting like other people because
I know.
they get to be like, oh, we know he's doing a good job or not if he reminds me of this other person.
Well, technically, he was kind of acting like the other guy that was in the movie.
Yeah. So you're like, does he sound like Trump? Does he act like Trump? Yeah, okay. Well, sounds great. Does Timothy Chalamet sound and act like Bob Dylan? Yeah, he's doing the weird voice. Yeah, okay. He's got the aloof, disaffected kind of jerk-off personality. All right, there we go. So that's why I think they picked Timothy Chalamet, but I would, of course, pick Coleman Domingo.
And they picked Adrian Brody.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
For the brutalist.
Take that, Timothy.
I mean, it was... And then Adrian Brody got up on stage, gave this really nice speech about being, like, having, like, a second chance.
Yeah.
Because he's done a lot of shit, and he's, like, acknowledged that. And he's like, this is nice to finally, like, be back up here, because I didn't think I was going to be back up here. Mm-hmm. And then his speech kept going, and then they started playing him off, and he's like, I've been up here before, give me more time. And then they stopped playing, and then he kind of just, like... kept going, and it was a little awkward, but then he had a nice speech at the end about being nice to each other and just accepting one another.
I give him less time. You've already been up there, Adrian. You've said what you had to say.
That's what he said. He's like, I've been up here. Give me more time.
You're out. You ran out of things. I think it would be funny if he'd be like, hey, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. And then they stop playing, and he goes, all right, I'm actually done. I'll see you guys.
That'd be good.
That would be a fun Andy Kaufman style bit.
Best actress in a leading role, a very highly anticipated matchup.
Yes.
With all these, because they have not been in the same category together this entire awards race. They've had some of the same people, but not all five of them competing at one time. Mm-hmm. All right, we have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, Demi Moore, The Substance, Carla Sofia Gascon, Amelia Perez.
Nope.
Cynthia. I mean, sorry. I mean, Conan even like did that at the beginning. He's like, he made a joke about, he's like, I can't imagine being her publicist right now, and then like seeing that and saying, no, Carla, no, fuck.
Is she even in the audience for this? I was thinking about
and
that.
She thought the joke was funny. She like was a good player about it. Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, and Mikey Madison for Anora.
So I would pick Mikey, and at the beginning of this, I would have guessed they would not have. I would have guessed they picked Demi. But there seems to be some momentum building here with Anora, so I'm less certain of that now. I still will go with my gut and say they picked Demi Moore, just because of that lineage and the story behind it thing.
Mikey Madison for Anora!
All right.
An ingenue is crowned.
Poor Demi.
We love to see it.
Yes, I look forward to her picking much less interesting role, to being like, would you like to be in this Marvel film? Would you like to do this? Would you like to be Catwoman in a Batman movie coming up or something?
Mikey Madison is 25 years old.
Very young.
But it's still not the youngest recently, because the youngest recently was Jennifer Lawrence. She was 22 when she won. Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty crazy. She doesn't read 22 in that movie.
Not at all. That's probably why they kept casting her as way older ladies.
All right, so we got director now?
We got director. We have Coralie Farge, The Substance, Jacques Audiard, Amelia Perez, James Mangold, A Complete Unknown, Brady Corbet, The Brutalist, and Sean Baker, Anora.
I gotta go with the momentum. I think they picked Sean Baker, and I might too. Read them all to me again.
Coralie Farge, Jacques Audiard, James Mangold, Brady Corbet, Sean Baker.
Yeah, they got a lot of talented people in there, plus James Mangold, so I'm not
Rude.
sure who
That guy has consistently made pop entertainment that I say
that I love sleeping through. Yes,
7 out of 10. Most of those movies.
Solid C's all around.
Yeah, why? Yeah, you need that in Hollywood, though. Don't discriminate against that.
We can need it and not celebrate it.
Yeah, well, maybe, but sometimes you should celebrate it. Maybe not for this movie, but like, I don't know, something that he's got coming up.
Well, I'll go Sean Baker, too. Me and Hollywood both saying Sean Baker, best director.
And we all agree Sean Baker is anointed with 3 Oscars now.
It's the benefit when you do everything yourself. My goodness.
And a Palme d'Or, PGA, DGA.
What a great year.
Best Picture. The nominees were Wicked, The Substance, Nickel Boys, I'm Still Here, Amelia Perez, Dune Part 2, Conclave, A Complete Unknown, The Brutalist, and Anora.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Nickel Boy's best film, but I guess I would pick that. But I'm just, the momentum seems to be here. Everybody's going for Anora, which it came out a lot earlier than some of these other films that seemed like they were poised to take it, like The Brutalist or The Substance or, for a time, Amelia Perez. So surprised. It's kind of been captivating and holding on to people. So I will say our best picture of 2024 is Anora.
What did I just send you?
You sent me a thing? Let's see here. Why, look at that. It is indeed Anora. Here is their new key art.
5 Oscars for Anora.
Sean Baker has got himself 4 statues in one night after decades of toiling in his weird obscurity.
He is now in the history books. He is one of 2, and really one of 1, who has actually won 4 Oscars in the same night for the same movie. The only other person was Walt Disney, but I think he won it for 2 different movies.
Okay.
It was like Snow White and something else. But Sean Baker has 4 fucking Oscars. Wow. Incredible. What a night for him. Couldn't have been a nicer guy to give it to, because the whole time he's like, every speech he's like, we should really celebrate the theatrical experience and keep going to the movies and hope, I want to elongate these theatrical windows and tell these theatrical exhibitors to hold on to these movies and stop them from going to streaming so quickly, and we can keep this theatrical experience like alive and well for many, many years. And yeah, he had a lot of good speeches.
I get the idea, but that one's tough because the movies aren't leaving immediately, going to streaming, and then there's nothing in the theaters. Like, there's just so much.
That's true, but like, wouldn't it have been nice if there's less movies and maybe they're better because of it?
If Wicked's in the theaters for like 5 months, like all these other smaller, better films are going to have a harder time getting in there, is my concern.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also think that maybe they could have less Wickeds.
Well, we're definitely not getting less Wickeds until the whole thing comes crumbling down.
Yes.
So, like, I get, in my mind, that's where it's at. Right, just like I would like there to be room still for, like, I'm lucky that I have our theater and then my other theater has 30 screens, so it is room for all kinds of random crap.
30 is a lot.
30 screens. That's why I can have 3 showtimes of Sonic 2 5 months after the movie came out. Sonic 3, I mean. But
yeah, Sonic 2's still playing there. We got a real problem.
So, but it also has room to kind of bring back these older films too. You know, it had Challengers back in theaters in January, and it had Conclave and like a lot of these Oscar films. Just to give you a chance to
see
catch
Challengers again in the theater. Oh, and hey, look what's playing today! Anora. Anora's got a few showtimes in my local theater.
Yeah, it makes sense. Or maybe the compromise is like, you know, when Godzilla X Kong comes out, we don't give it 80 showtimes. Mm-hmm. But the audience wants it, so like it'd be dumb if you didn't. I don't know. It's tough. But I get where Sean's coming from. Anora is not one of my favorite of his films, but it is a very good film he's done. And in my mind, it's just them being like, "Hey, sorry, we haven't really been paying any attention to you all the years you've been doing great transgressive things."
Would you say your favorite is the Florida Project?
I would think so. It feels like the most complete, but I guess the Sean Bakerist one feels like Tangerine.
Mm-hmm. I really want to rewatch it, but I think my favorite of his is Prince of Broadway.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten to see that one yet.
I watched that last year, and it's just getting a 4K Blu-ray in April.
Yeah, that sounds like a good Criterion sale pickup for me.
So I'm gonna highly suggest you watch that as soon as it comes out, because it's very
I'll
good.
check that out. But I liked Red Rocket and I liked Anora. Like, I haven't disliked any of his films. Ironically, I thought Anora went a little too long in some sequences, but I imagine that just means the takes were even longer and they like found a way to cut it down and keep the energy going at the same time. I don't think it always succeeded on that, but I'm not going to complain. All right, well, you know what? I guess this year, for all the hullabaloo I give to the Oscars and all the badgering I do, I think most of the time, even if we disagreed, I didn't feel offended by their options. I'm not very happy with a lot of their nominations. I think particularly in the actress category, you left out a lot of things. I think your best actress, your supporting actress category was largely devoid of anything interesting. But I would say overall, very high marks for the Oscars in 2024. Well done. Don't usually expect this from you. I'll be a little nicer to you in 2025 until all the wicked aplomb starts coming out, and then I'll get annoyed again. But I'll pull back.
There's way too many like big movies coming out this year, because last year the movies were affected by the strikes, and then this year is like all the movies coming out from the strikes that are finishing up.
Could be, I don't know, it's something. You've already got momentum because people liked your part one so much.
Well, this year is also the Paul Thomas Anderson year.
Yeah,
for
I
his
just
new
don't.
Movie.
I don't know. I think you did your.
He has been a long time coming.
Doesn't matter.
And if
Maybe you'll give him director, but like I think that's it.
I know, but this movie is so different from anything he's ever done.
We'll
which
see.
Is
I'm
it's
expecting
a huge, big blockbuster. He does not direct blockbusters, especially one starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
They're like, we gave you art people your art thing. We're going back to Oppenheimer's the next year. Like we're done.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan was not there along with half of Hollywood because they're filming his new movie.
Yeah. So like think about it, right? Like when's the last Parasite? It was like 5 years ago.
6 now.
6. So like every 6 years, like that's when you get one of these.
Yeah.
Like I don't count Nomadland, people out there. That was, for a neo-realist type film, it was oddly boring. So I don't know.
I agree. I have to rewatch it, but
it meandered and
I
didn't
haven't
really
had the
do
desire
anything,
to.
or it's the things it said, I guess, were important, but not particularly interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, and that director hasn't done anything since she used her capital to make a Marvel movie, and then the Marvel movie was like, bye.
Yeah.
We don't even like think your movie is canon anymore.
Really? You're allowed to say that?
What?
That the movies aren't canon? Like Marvel can just be like,
No, it's that's how I feel like they've treated it, but I'm sure I think the new one that they just put out had some kind of Eternals.
Whatever, I'm not paying attention. It's fine. All right, good work, Flo. Good work, Anora. Any disappointments you had in watching the awards?
I mean, I was gonna complain about the James Bond tribute that they did, which was like, it felt like 10 or 15 minutes. I turned it off for a minute because I was like, I'm done with this. But it did start out with Margaret Qualley, who I have nothing bad to say about her. She looks fantastic.
Did Gene sneak into the In Memoriam last second?
He had a nice... No, the In Memoriam had a weird song behind it, but it was nice. Because it started off with a tribute from Morgan Freeman talking about Gene Hackman in Unforgiven, and he's like, "I worked with Gene Hackman on 2 movies. Unforgiven, he had a very nice like quote from it, and then he was like, and Under Suspicion, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I watched that a few years ago, and that movie is like really weird and not like some movie that like the Oscars are going to talk about. Yeah, it was a nice tribute for Gene, and then they do like everybody else, and then Gene Hackman had one last little like thing at the end. They gave him the beginning and then the end.
David Lynch get a little something to himself?
Lynch had something very small, like 5 or 6 seconds, just very strange. But they did like hold on him for a minute.
But unsurprising, because like Hollywood never really.
They nominated him twice, but never gave him anything. They gave him like an honorary.
They also actively like didn't like him and didn't like. There were 2 times they did not. One for a very not interesting movie, and
one for a movie that he should have won. Do you know who won that year? The year he won?
No, who?
My favorite director.
Sidney Lumet?
No, this is a joke director. I don't love him.
Oh, the guy who killed the people?
What are you talking about? Ron Howard.
Okay.
The guy who killed
the guy who
people.
killed the people with the helicopter. We always were like, that guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
John Landis.
Yeah, John Landis. I thought you were being...
Jackass.
All right. Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. He won for A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Elephant Man year.
No, I don't know who won in that year. I think that was Redford or Beatty.
Yeah, I don't know. The 80s weren't a great time.
No.
But Mulholland Drive, like an actual, like, a very bold choice for Best Picture.
When was is Elephant Man 81 or 80? Because
I think it's 82.
Oh, okay. Because if it was 80, then I'm like, well, He didn't win, but it was that should have been Scorsese's year for Raging Bull. Elephant Man is 1980.
Oh, okay. Well then,
yeah,
it makes sense to me. Like they were never that into David Lynch anyway. If they had done like a bigger thing, it would have felt kind of insincere. You didn't give him the time of day when he's alive. I don't know how you're doing it now. But all right, Gene Hackman makes a lot of sense. Good work on turning that around real quick, I guess, Academy people. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad this was its own thing because it's going to be like an hour long. So good thing we didn't tack this onto something else.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll probably do it again next year. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Marmaduke, the sweet, delicious treat for your toast or a spiteful cat. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping us sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
I'm here.
And I am your host, Patrick Scala. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably, with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night. Buenas noches.
OSCAR. 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 Oscar, 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 Oscar.
Who are we talking about?
The director of Amelia Perez.
I never bothered learning his name, her name. I don't even know.
It's a male. He directed some movies that I like, maybe one just in particular, The Sisters Brothers, with Joaquin Phoenix and Jake Gyllenhaal. Very good movie. All right, I'm going to send you some stuff that I wanted to send you last night, but you were freaking out about spoilers, so...
Okay, but I will look at them when you tell me it's appropriate. Should I look at them in the main show, or should I look at them now?
I mean, these are just pictures.
Pictures of what?
Well, first I sent you a picture of one of our subjects from this season, and then I sent you a picture of Mr. Timothy Chalamet as the man in the yellow hat.
The man in the yellow hat? All right, I'll take a quick peek at these.
And then I gotta send you something from the site X.
Oh, Whoopi. What's Whoopi? Whoopi and Oprah?
Whoopi was there.
What are they doing there? What the F is she wearing?
What's that?
I'm just looking at Whoopi's really weird dress.
Yeah, it's strange.
It just seems like something she wouldn't wear. It feels like their outfits should be reversed. Whoopi feels like she'd just kind of come casually in a tuxedo, low-key comfortable, and Oprah would do some weird... I don't even know if the top part of this dress is like fabric or like some plastic so it'll stay in place.
Yeah, they do look like they should be reversed.
I don't understand. Did he come in with that hat? That hat looks like a...
No, the hat's not... The hat was animated on him. That's why he's not sitting next to the monkey is not there either.
Maybe it's like a Pokemon Go thing and somebody... he took an altered photo.
No.
All right, that's Sandler again. Okay.
Yeah, that's our Sandman.
I like Sandler not only not dressing up, but then just wearing as bright a color as he can to show off that he's not doing that.
Yes. And did you hear what won Best Picture last night?
No, of course not. I didn't. We got to do that now, Joe. Don't say anything now. What are you doing?
I'm not sending that until we are recording.
Okay.
That will be on air.
All right. Coleman Domingo invited to Oscars, #Oscars, geez, sorry, to dance at the commercial break. What?
Yeah, he's dancing. He's just hanging out and dancing. He's getting the crowd all fired up.
They just like come up and do a dance for us? Does he dance? Is he a dancer?
He does everything. He's a jack of all trades.
What a great gentleman we have here.
I know.
Coleman Domingo. Oh, we should be so lucky to have someone like Coleman Domingo in our lives.
Yeah, let's stop giving him projects like Rustin and more like Sing Sing.
But like Rustin, I could see why he would want... Like, I could see him being like, I would love to do something like this.
I might watch that just because of him. I have had no desire to watch that movie at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's not a very interesting movie. And, like, his performance isn't even that exciting in it. Like, he's doing the Chalamet, like, I'm just going to put on a funny voice and then, like, act like the dude. Like, whatever.
You know, everyone said that Chalamet looked like a stick of butter at the Oscars. That was the big joke.
That was the big joke, like, during the
but
Oscars?
I think he was trying to look like an Oscar. Like, he looks like a little gold statue.
I see where you're coming from, Joe, and I like that interpretation because I think it's kind of a douchey interpretation. And just look at that douche face he's got, even with his silly yellow hat and monkey.
It's not a real hat.
It's just so douchey.
Someone put it on him.
What was Whoopi and Oprah doing there? Were they presenting something?
They were presenting Quincy Jones as like an honorary
Lifetime
Oscar
award thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Reasonable picks for that. Good for Oprah. Oh, no, good for Whoopi. Just being like, fuck it, I'm putting on this weird blue thing.
She's like, wrap me in plastic, literally.
Make me look like I'm from the year 2139. Let's go.
I started Laura Palmer tribute. She looks like she's wrapped in plastic.
So I think we'll go in kind of like reverse order.
Yeah.
Just start with the stuff people care less about.
Okay. Well, we can just skip that altogether.
No, well, we'll see. You bring up a category. If I'm like, we don't have to do that.
All right. I'll start at the bottom of...
maybe start with like the short film things first.
Okay.
And then we'll move up to the feature stuff.
Live action short film.
And then we won't do documentary because I didn't see any of those. I'm not interested in seeing any of those. I wouldn't know anyway.
You missed a real barn burner of a speech.
All right. Well, what happened in that
The documentary
speech?
one was everyone's like, wow, that one was very well deserved to win. And I can't believe the Academy actually celebrated that movie.
What was that movie? What was the...
No Other Land?
Yeah, again, I hadn't seen any of these, so what do I know?
I'll read you the synopsis of it.
Okay, that sounds like a Palestine... Israel thing?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. A young Palestinian activist named Bassel Adra has been resisting the forced displacement of his people by Israel's military in Masafar Yatta, a region in the West Bank, since he was a child. He records the gradual destruction of his homeland, where Israeli soldiers are tearing down homes and evicting their inhabitants in order to create a military firing zone. He befriends Yuval, a Jewish-Israeli journalist who helps him in his struggle. They form an unexpected bond, but their friendship is challenged by the huge gap between their living conditions. Bazel faces constant oppression and violence, while Yuval enjoys freedom and security. This movie has been almost impossible to find and watch because there's been no distributor for it. So it's literally just been an Academy thing.
No distributor for a short documentary? Get out of town! Let me call Ripley up! He's never gonna believe this!
This is feature documentary. I was just giving you this feature documentary because you didn't want to do it.
Oh, feature documentary?
This is feature documentary.
I thought it was short documentary. That's feature documentary?
I was gonna do that when we start recording. This is pre-show. You didn't want to do documentary because you didn't watch them. So I was just telling you about it.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even realize there was a feature documentary category.
Jesus Christ. I usually try to watch at least one or two of them.
That feels like a Netflix kind of thing. Netflix didn't want
that?
that?
No one wants this movie.
Wow. That's
too hot.
It's got to get somebody now, right?
Hopefully.
You've got your marketing right there. You're afraid to pick a side on the conflict in the Middle East? Well, now you don't have to. You're just like, Oscar-winning documentary. Here we go. That's all you got to say. Okay, well then let me drink the water.
All right, let's get to the business then.
Let me drink the water.